Hello, and welcome back to the stream and or video, depending on where you're watching from and when you're watching. Today, the plan is to work on the Glacier part of the wall, which I did work on a little bit off stream. Textured this part up to where we are now. And accidentally messed up some of the trees over here while trying to get the ice into place. But we're doing good now. And after we work on this for a bit, we're going to return to the dwarf settlements and work on that some more. So that's the plan, and we'll get started with, as I already kind of have, the glacier parts here. Which is getting more and more just pure ice and less of the rock. The idea is that it'll be mostly icier terrain as you get farther around the area. But I still want some mountain aspects just to solidify that, like, this isn't just an ice wall. And that's why we're going to keep with these mountain pieces that I've been doing. To hopefully sell the point a bit better that it's a glacier and not just a ice wall. Is it going to work the way I want it to? I don't know, but it's been looking good so far, and I've been happy with how it's turned out. So for the time being, it's just what we're going to go with. As I'm sure you've noticed now, probably if you're even watching the stream, but maybe you haven't, that I've started a chain of cinematic shorts on YouTube. So be sure, if you enjoy the stream content, to go check those out. It's going to be making up probably the bulk of the YouTube content now. Not in length, of course, because the stream VODs are long. Which right now I'm still working on more of a transitionary period to it. I don't want to go straight to full ice. Part of the idea of hopefully selling the idea that this is a glacier is making a more transitional space for it to hopefully give it the, again, keep with that appearance that it's a glacier, not just an ice wall. Is it going to look mostly like an ice wall by the end anyway? Almost certainly, but we gotta try our best to make it look like what we want, which I think has been going pretty well. These are actually some of the best mountains I think I've ever made on the project, which is kind of amusing. And of course, then we're going to have to finish up later with a bit of cleanup due to the line, the original terrain line, being slightly inaccurate. And I know that this is a bit lower than what would normally be in the terrain. I know I've been going for about 64 height-wise, but I think this area would be a bit different, as it will have most likely eroded a lot and changed a lot, not been very tall due to the shifting ice planes. It does mean that I'm going to have to clean up this line, which is great fun. Just because it makes the map look nicer when you don't have the remnants of the line peeking out. And then, of course, we just got to make sure that all of this gets filled in. Still having a bit of lag problems, but it's a lot better than it was last stream. So that's an improvement at least. And yeah, the map looks so much cleaner. Alright, time to move forward with the next bit. I want to create a little break here. Because the idea is that at some point there will also be ice caves in this area in the glacier. Still got a bit of lag in this area, but I'm not quite sure why. Still better than other streams, so. Oh, goodness, that was a mistake. Hold on a moment. Apologies about that. My cat snuck into my room. So I had to go shoo him out. Oh gosh, nope, that's the wrong brush. Just gonna keep making sure that we got plenty of ice going on. And I should mention, I guess, slightly that the way that I've been doing these streams is that Mondays will be working primarily on terrain aspects of the map, large-scale terrain aspects, and then Wednesdays is primarily for structures and smaller detailing. That's why if you look at the stream schedule on Twitch, I believe it says approximately that sort of thing. Might be slightly different, but that's approximately what it says, so. But in the end, it's mostly just whatever I feel like working on. Looks like we're about done with that. So now we move into here. excuse me, here. And grab our typical bicone tool. Which actually, if you saw the latest short, you would see that I said the 2.9 download will be coming soon. The idea is that once I finish up a bit of work in the Dwarven area, we will release the 2.9 download, which will be a pretty large change from the 2.8 download, if I recall correctly. Ooh, messed that up. You gotta be careful here. You can only really smooth out these top portions. Otherwise, you start to have issues, which some of this is going to end up being retextured in the future when we start doing the caves, because I'm probably going to be putting some holes and stuff, but a lot of the border terrain is going to change a little bit in the future, so. Next thing we got to do is biome changing. So we're going to grab our frozen ocean, fill vertically, and we're going to start just with the outline of this whole thing. Then we are going to expand it outwards, probably just until the edge of this bedrock, to be fair. I think that'll give us a relatively smooth curve from the original map, merging into the prior area. Then we grab frozen peaks. And that goes pretty much everywhere else. Which we still need to put the snow on top of that, which will be in redstone blocks, but that doesn't need to be done right away. Whereas the biome shift will be pretty important so that I can start putting ice in the water. Just like that. All right. Sphere 500 next. And lapis. Let's actually upgrade this to 10. Because most of this area just needs to be covered anyway. Regardless. We're going to avoid most of that mountain space just because it isn't fully finished yet and we don't want to mess that up. And I know that this might make it seem like some of the ice layers are kind of pointless, and they kind of are, but it'll add to the looks regardless. Very, very large section of terrain we got here. Normally I do this in smaller chunks. I could have done more with the patterning in the stone for this section, but I opted not to. For a couple of reasons. I figured, seeing as most of this area is going to be covered in snow, that would be the primary detail, and I would leave the rest just for something else. Snow block. Yes. Under redstone block and diamond block. This just helps the snow feel thicker, which it would if it had been snowing here for ages. And it also just helps the terrain look generally nicer when it gets done. The reason we don't do it on the ice is to make the ice feel like it's a bit more temporary, which is exactly the kind of thing that we're going for. Actually, no, we'll go. The reason I was debating that is because we're going to add some blue ice into the mix eventually. In this section, in fact. And so I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do that right away. But I think what I'll do is actually just replace the normal ice with blue ice. And I think this already is looking pretty good. I'm not sure if it quite reads Glacier as much as I want it to, but it is turning out pretty close to what I want it to look like, and I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, I won't know for sure until I get the snow layers in and the rock in, because the diamond does blend in with the ice quite a bit. And then I'll have to paint in the ice in the ocean as well. Perfect. Stone, dead, to the coral block, andesite. And this one might be a bit hard to do perfectly just because it's not perfectly uniform anymore. Avoid most of that mountain space. And it'll all really start to come together once we start getting the snow off of the red coloring from the redstone blocks. That's also when I'll figure out that I've made a ton of mistakes in trying to texture it. Which I'm already noticing that I missed a spot there. And yeah, you can already see how much different this looks once we get all of this in. And yeah, it's not quite what I was hoping it would look like, but it is very good. And I do really enjoy how it looks. Next we put in sandstone. In these areas, then we will get rid of bedrock. Save that area. We need to come over in here, I believe, because we believe we have some that needs to be removed over here. over there, and I think there's a piece over here somewhere. But I think we got most of it now. That really stands out on the map. That's unexpected. Now we are going to come over here. And we're just going to start adding in some of the blue ice. Just like that. That's perfect. Now, ash paints. We get to do this. We go up to, I think, 7. We don't want to fill everything, but we do want to create some like thicker parts, some thinner parts. And then we come in here and we grab Shatter Tool. Tool masks, edit, block equals ice. Like so. Ooh, we do not want that to be our active block. And then we can go around and shatter, like so. And then for some of these areas, we go a bit deeper. Just like that. And then because we still have this slew of frozen ocean area, we start adding these little outcroppings. And we're also going to downsize our brush. So that we can get some smaller outcroppings. like so. And just like that, we have our icy glacier area. And I am going to screenshot this, which is probably going to cause some lag, so I apologize for that. And there you go. You can see we've made a pretty substantial chunk there into the wall. Not massive, but quite a bit of expansion there. Which also makes it so that this northern edge is actually just about done. Which means that the border wall, terraforming-wise, is almost probably about 2/3 of the way completed now. And actually, especially when you take a step back from this terrain is pretty cool. I might have to get rid of some of the snow in the future, but it looks pretty good. And I'm also thinking I might be able to put a couple of trees and some clumps in it, and that might really help this area really start to run. But for the time being, well, we got a little bit of time. I think for the time being, though, we are going to move back into our Dwarven settlement. The lag area. And we're going to work down on this area. Primarily trying to finish up this section of the building, and then working on the new area that we I did off screen, where I built this lovely dwarf king statue. But for now, we are going to work on this section here. I think it doesn't like the caves. That's the problem with the lag. That's why I haven't been having problems before. Because it doesn't like the cave. That's a shame. We don't need a ton of render distance, so we'll just turn this down. I might turn this down and this down as well, and that might help with the lag. And then hopefully we will have less issues. which if you haven't seen this part of the build before, this is our primarily Dwarven settlement area in the map, which is textured primarily gray. It will most likely might turn into tough when Axiom mod updates to the next version. Readjust my position. Sorry about that. And lagging again. Man, I am sorry. Lagging again. Which the idea is that in the future we might have like a dwarf head or something in there. I haven't fully figured that out yet, but that will be more when we get into detailing phase of project. This part of the project will probably happen. We might get started on it today. We'll have to see. So we might also just go back to the glaciers. I'm not entirely sure yet. Yeah, I'm liking this so far. I'm not quite sure if it's perfectly the way I want it to be, but I like it. I definitely like how it's connected to this art. Ooh, missed a spot. Let's get that filled in. Of course, it'll also look at least slightly better when we get our railings in as well. And if you're wondering why I use World Edit for parts of it and not for others, the reason is that, well, the primary reason is that there's some areas where it's faster just because it's a large area. I generally prefer building things straight up by hand. Excuse me. But sometimes it's just too much work and I'm trying not to waste my time while also enjoying myself and the process, so really just kind of depends what I feel like for it, but larger sections will 100% get world edited, where very small sections I'll do by hand. You know, I'm thinking it might even be a good idea to make a small gatehouse here. Ooh, that's absolutely not gonna work. I need to actually use my brain. Let's just do a bit of weird stuff. It'll be unusual, but let's just go with it. Two, three, four, five. Doing weird things is a good idea sometimes. And really all I'm doing is just adding a little extension here. And I think it'll look okay. It's a bit of a weird thing, but sometimes you gotta do weird things to make it look and work the way you want it to. It's just about figuring out what looks good to you, seeing if there's something that looks wrong and could be improved, and just going with it. Just figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work, and do your best to make it look the way you envisioned it. And sometimes, if it doesn't look the way you envision it, you either try again, or you just roll with what you got, and you see how it turns out. Because sometimes what you think would have looked good isn't quite what you thought it would have been. And so working it again to see what you come up with can lead to some really good results. So even though it's kind of weird, we're just going with it. And if you ask me, it actually turned out pretty well. There, so. We did a good job with that. And we just gotta get this last section of railing here. And then we're gonna texture this area. And see what we think. And sometimes it's not worth going back to a brush, and that's another time that I'll use just doing something by hand instead. But as you can see, I mean, look at that. Once we get some of the other parts in, like especially some of these doorways, this is gonna start looking pretty good, I think. And I mean, already this looks so good. The dwarf statue there really helps. It looks very castle-like, which is kind of what I was going for, but not precisely what I was going for. But I'm relatively happy with how it looks. I am going to yoink this head. There we go. I very much like that. And then I think right underneath it, we're gonna have an archway. Probably gonna do full archway. But then do a smaller archway inside of it like this. Yeah, that's looking good. I like that. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of fixing here just so that it looks decent. Ooh, I'm gonna have to do a lot of fixing over here. Make sure this looks much nicer. And look how much more special that building looks already now. It's a bit weird having the two Dwarven heads, but I like it a lot, and it looks very nice. I definitely need to do more details with the darker blocks, as they have been looking very, very good. And I mean, also look at this. Just look at that. I mean, come on. And then for some of these, we're going to do something relatively simple for doorways. Others are going to get some grander treatment. And just for the sake of how it looks, we're going to need to remember to get that going. This is going to have to be cleared out at some point. Let's move this up one. And something else I'm considering doing. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty decent. Add some color to it as well, which is great. And look at that already. Starting to look way better. That's main tower of it done. Look at that. Once we get more details into more places, that looks pretty good so far. Add some extra lines, and that looks pretty solid to me. It does look a bit castle-like, but I think it's okay. This one, having it look castle-like, I think is mostly fine. It's not precisely what I want, but it's not too bad. That is really starting to turn into a very nice build, I think. I need to get some lanterns going on it eventually, but it looks so much better once you get all of those pieces going with it. And it's all relatively simple design, which is what makes it even better. Not sure I like that. Maybe gray and orange would look better. I think I might need to just get custom banners for this. Although, yeah, let's try and make some custom banners real quick. Yeah, I like that. That's a pretty good design. Although I might try to get a design that I like that's purple as well. And have two banner designs here. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. It also adds some very nice color. Generally, I don't recommend using banners for detailing, but sometimes you need them to just sort of emphasize something or go with that color. I mean, yeah, see, that looks so much better, and I definitely need to do more custom banner work for some of the other parts of the map. For now, I'm going to try to clear out some of this, and we're going to save that. So we always have access to these banners, so that I can clear my inventory. Although I'm going to immediately reload these because I want to get I should have done this the other way. Because what we're going to do is make snowed banners like this. And see, look at that. Look at how much history that puts into this part of the build. Just by adding these in, you have that weird, like, they feel like they've been there feel. Well, maybe not weird, but this is why you can do some really cool things with custom banners. Just because, I mean, yeah, I might make some worn out versions too, which would have a different colored gradient on them. But for now, I'm happy with what we've got. And of course, it's always important to leave some walls blank because not all walls need to have details on them. So sometimes just leave, or windows or something like that. So sometimes you just leave something relatively blank, and it'll just help it look a bit better. Which, at least for the time being, we've done a pretty good job on the front of the building there, I think. Let me just get rid of this loom. But we do need to get some lanterns. The hanging lanterns will give it a little bit of extra detail. And it would also make sense because you need lighting. So they would definitely have some form of light. And I think that I'm pretty happy with the design here so far. So we're just going to dot some of these around here. And we're going to grab our shaders. We're going to turn up the brightness just so that you can see this better. And look at that. It'll look better once we do interior, of course. But we have a pretty solid build there. I actually wonder if I can get the sun to shine through there just so that it hits that statue. We're not going to worry about that right now, though. We're just going to grab a few screenshots. That's just for future. And I will be back in a second. I need to get some water, and I'll see you in just a moment. Oh, so that's not good. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't know why that's broken. I'll fix that here in a second. I don't know why that was broken. All right, I will be right back. All right, I'm back, and we're going to be working on this section now, which is going to be an interesting piece of addition. As we're going to start with some of the column design, which is going to probably be an absolute pain to do. And I might end up doing off camera as a result. But for now, I just want to start structuring it and start getting a design down so we can start fully expanding this set of structures. And also so that I can fill in the floor here, which actually I might just do right now. There we go. Just that he's not standing on nothing now. Which this is actually only the 2 of the 3 statues that are going to be in here. I'm going to make a third one that's going to have a shield right here. And also the reason that I need to care about how this is going to look is because we are going to have to put in another tunnel area, and I want to make sure that works out. Actually, I think I am going to do a bit of world edit here. Just to speed this up a bit more. You won't have to sit there and watch me do nothing for ages. That's a lot of lag. There we go. So, the way this is going to work is that this is going to be the entrance, and this is going to be an entrance. To do that, we're going to do a little bit of work. 3, 4, 5. Like so, to form the basis of this essentially gateway. I'm sorry about that. Just readjusting myself again. Go. So you would be able to walk through here, would be a corner you would come here, and you would exit through this section here. which is actually probably going to have its own little splurge. 5. Perfect. Ooh, goodness. Don't do that. Actually, we can't do that because that's where our column's going to be, and we don't know what that's going to look like yet. But now we have the pathway, although it does look like we're going to need to do a little bit of terrain work here. So let's grab our melt. And get that there. But that is a bit better, a bit more open to the movement that we're looking for. Very nice. Okay. Sorry, I distracted myself a little bit there. Let's see what we're probably going to do here. Let's actually have a bit of stuff going on here. We might add on to that later, but we're gonna stick with that for now. And there will probably be some structures, not necessarily hanging, but coming off or into the wall from over here. But I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with that. Now I'm just going to put some bases into this area. And at some point we're going to have a staircase coming up to here. I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe I'll make it a big bridge. Maybe it'll actually be from here and we'll have a big bridge coming out for that. I'd like to do it slightly differently, but I think that might be best. Like, I would love to have the bridge actually be here, but I'm not sure that would work. Well, it could work. Bridge from here going down that way. That might work. But I think I'm getting kind of tired here and have been getting really distracted, so I think we're actually going to... Oh, call it. I never switched off of the screen. That is a shame. Well, I will show you what we've been doing. Goes to show you that I really should have quit the stream. So, we're gonna end the stream for now. Otherwise, we should be back on Wednesday, and then there will be no stream on Monday, but I'm thinking we're going to have a bonus stream this Saturday, so look out for that on Saturday. With that, have a good rest of your day.